In the ever-evolving world of technology and innovation, few stories have captured the world's attention quite like this one. The name Elon Musk has long been synonymous with disruption, from electric cars to reusable rockets, from artificial intelligence to global internet networks. But when news began circulating about a $1 billion deal between Musk and a lesser-known African inventor named Maxwell Chikumbutso, the world paused. Who was this man from Zimbabwe? And what kind of invention could have possibly drawn the interest, respect, and partnership of the world's most influential innovator?
It all started quietly, away from Silicon Valley and far from the global spotlight.
In a modest workshop in Harare, Maxwell Chikumbutso had been developing technologies that most of the world's scientists dismissed as impossible. His dream was simple yet revolutionary: to create machines that could power themselves, generate energy without fossil fuels, and run indefinitely without traditional charging. It sounded like science fiction, but the prototypes he built told a different story. The self-powered car, as he called it, became a local legend, a car that could run without fuel, electricity, or any external charging source. It was powered entirely by electromagnetic energy conversion, something that defied mainstream physics as we know it. When Elon Musk first heard whispers of Chikumbutso's invention, he reportedly dismissed them as just another internet rumor. But as data, patents, and independent test results began to surface, curiosity turned into fascination. Musk, a man who built his empire on breaking barriers, couldn't resist investigating further. Sources close to Tesla confirmed that Musk's engineering team discreetly reached out to Chikumbutso's research network in late 2024. They wanted to see the technology firsthand. What they found would change everything. According to insiders, Chikumbutso demonstrated not just one, but several devices powered by his electromagnetic conversion system. A generator that could produce continuous energy without fuel. A drone that flew endlessly without needing to recharge. And most shocking of all, a fully functional prototype of his self-powered vehicle, a sedan running silently, powered by invisible energy fields. The engineers who witnessed it described it as decades ahead of anything currently in production. Elon Musk reportedly flew to a private facility in South Africa under strict confidentiality to witness a demonstration himself. What he saw left him stunned. In a world where energy dominates politics, economics, and even wars, a technology like this could shift the balance of power overnight. Free energy, or even highly efficient self-sustaining systems, have always been viewed as a threat to established industries. That's why stories like Chikumbutso's often vanish from the public eye. But Musk wasn't the kind of man to fear disruption. He saw opportunity. And within weeks of that meeting, negotiations began between Tesla Energy, SpaceX, and Chikumbutso's development company, Seth Technologies. The reported deal was valued at over $1 billion, not just in cash, but in technology transfer, research integration, and patent rights. The world didn't hear about it immediately. It took months before whispers reached the media, and when confirmation came through official Tesla statements, the reaction was explosive. Some called it the dawn of a new energy age. Others dismissed it as hype or clever marketing. But the reality was far more profound. This wasn't a marketing stunt, it was a silent handshake between two of the world's most daring minds. Musk's vision has always been rooted in sustainability, from electric vehicles to solar power to the colonization of Mars. Yet every one of those visions faced one central limitation: energy storage and supply. Batteries degrade, solar power fluctuates, and fuel costs remain unstable. What Chikumbutso claimed to have discovered could eliminate those limitations entirely. Imagine a Tesla vehicle that never needed charging. A SpaceX habitat that powered itself indefinitely on Mars.
A Starlink satellite network fueled by infinite electromagnetic conversion.
For Musk, this wasn't just a partnership, it was the missing piece of his grand puzzle. When the deal became public, Maxwell Chikumbutso suddenly became a global name. Interviews, documentaries, and countless YouTube videos flooded the internet, trying to decode the man behind the mystery. Soft-spoken and deeply spiritual, Chikumbutso often credited divine inspiration for his discoveries. He wasn't a man chasing fame or money, he wanted to transform Africa through innovation. For decades, the continent has been viewed as a consumer of technology rather than a creator. But this partnership signaled a shift. For the first time, Africa wasn't just part of the conversation, it was leading it. Tesla's engineers began quietly integrating Chikumbutso's designs into experimental prototypes. Early test reports leaked from the Nevada Gigafactory showed energy generation units performing at unprecedented efficiency levels. Some claimed Tesla's next-generation Powerwall would feature components inspired by Maxwell's designs. Meanwhile, SpaceX reportedly began studying electromagnetic field propulsion as part of its deep space sustainability program. The implications were enormous. A future where spacecraft no longer relied solely on fuel, cars never needed to recharge, and homes powered themselves without connection to a grid, all rooted in the genius of one African inventor. But not everyone was thrilled. Energy giants, oil corporations, and traditional power investors began raising alarms. If Chikumbutso's technology proved scalable, it could undermine trillions of dollars in global infrastructure. Some tried to dismiss his work as pseudoscience, while others quietly moved to acquire his patents. Yet through all the noise, both Musk and Chikumbutso remained silent, focusing instead on development and integration. The message was clear: they weren't here to argue, they were here to revolutionize. As the months passed, evidence of their collaboration grew stronger. A mysterious Tesla prototype was spotted undergoing tests in Namibia, reportedly featuring a self-sustaining power core. Journalists traced shipping manifests linking Seth Technologies equipment to Tesla research facilities in Texas and Berlin. And during an interview at the World Future Energy Summit, Musk made a cryptic remark: "Some of the most groundbreaking energy solutions won't come from Silicon Valley, they'll come from places people least expect." The room erupted in speculation, but those following the story knew exactly who he was referring to. Behind the scenes, Chikumbutso faced immense pressure. Government agencies, corporate lobbyists, and international investors all wanted a piece of his creation. Yet, sources close to him say he remained calm, often reminding his team that the goal isn't wealth, it's change. For someone from a small township, he had captured the imagination of the world's richest man and inspired millions across Africa. In schools and universities, students began studying his blueprints and theories, hoping to understand the secret behind his self-powered systems. By mid-2025, Tesla's official documents listed a renewable electromagnetic energy research division, a subtle but powerful acknowledgement of the direction the company was heading. Musk, known for his bold statements, finally addressed the rumors directly in a live Q&A. "Yes, we're exploring advanced energy systems with some incredible innovators, Maxwell being one of them. It's still early, but the results are promising." That confirmation sent shockwaves across social media. The hashtag #MuskChikumbutso deal trended globally, while analysts began predicting a new era of decentralized free energy. What made this story truly remarkable wasn't just the technology, but the symbolism behind it. For centuries, Africa has been portrayed as a continent rich in resources but poor in opportunity. Now, through Chikumbutso's genius and Musk's platform, the narrative was changing. It wasn't just about innovation, it was about recognition. An African inventor had not only caught the attention of the world's top tech visionary, but had partnered with him to build the future. As the deal unfolded, Tesla began filing new patents referencing self-sustaining power systems, zero-input electromagnetic conversion, and field resonance generators. Each patent hinted at Chikumbutso's influence. SpaceX, too, expanded its sustainability division, exploring energy independence for lunar and Martian bases. And though details remained classified, insiders described it as the most transformative partnership since the birth of the modern electric age. By late 2025, Tesla planned to unveil what some called the Infinity Project, a prototype line of vehicles operating without conventional charging. Rumors suggest Maxwell's technology will be at the heart of it. If that's true, the world is standing on the edge of a revolution that could redefine everything we know about energy. Imagine a planet where energy is abundant, free, and clean, not controlled by corporations or governments, but by science and human ingenuity. That is the dream Chikumbutso and Musk now share. The partnership symbolizes something larger than any deal or dollar amount. It represents the merging of two worlds, the technological might of the West and the untapped potential of Africa. It's a reminder that innovation knows no borders, and genius can emerge from anywhere, even a small workshop in Harare. As Elon Musk once said, "The future belongs to those who build it." And today, thanks to this unlikely collaboration, that future looks brighter than ever. Maxwell Chikumbutso's story begins not in a gleaming laboratory but in the dusty neighborhoods of Harare, Zimbabwe, where curiosity and necessity shaped a mind that refused to accept limitation. Long before international headlines mentioned his name, he had been tinkering with discarded electronics, broken radios, and rewired circuits, driven by a fascination with how invisible forces, electricity, magnetism, and motion, could be turned into power. He was not a formally trained engineer. In fact, most of what he learned came from trial, error, and relentless observation. Yet that persistence would lead him toward inventions that drew attention across Africa and beyond. He founded Seth Technologies, a small research company with a bold vision, to create sustainable energy solutions for regions where access to power is inconsistent and costly. At the heart of his work was a belief that technology should serve people, not the other way around. He developed several prototypes, among them a greener power machine, GPM, a generator that he claimed could produce continuous electrical output using a combination of radio frequencies and magnetic fields. While his explanation sparked both curiosity and skepticism, the device reportedly powered homes and machinery during demonstrations in Harare. Journalists, academics, and investors visited his workshops. Some walked away unconvinced, others saw possibilities. The challenge with revolutionary ideas, especially those that seem to defy mainstream physics, is verification. Independent tests and scientific validation are often expensive and hard to coordinate in regions with limited technical infrastructure. Yet Chikumbutso continued refining his designs. He later introduced a self-powered car prototype, a television that could operate without traditional electricity, and a drone system capable of extended flight durations. Whether every claim stood up to laboratory scrutiny or not, one thing became clear: he had captured imaginations across the continent. His motivation was never purely personal gain. In interviews, Maxwell spoke about the frustration of watching communities go dark at night because they could not afford power, about children studying by candlelight, and about rural hospitals where life-saving machines stood idle when fuel ran out. For him, innovation was a form of justice, a way to bridge inequality through access to energy. As his profile grew, so did the global conversation about energy independence. Around the same time, major technology companies, including Tesla, were accelerating research into battery storage, solar power, and decentralized grids. The goals aligned: to reduce reliance on fossil fuels and move humanity closer to renewable, sustainable energy. While there is no confirmed collaboration between Tesla and Maxwell Chikumbutso, the philosophical overlap between their missions is striking. Both visions challenge an old paradigm where power generation is centralized and controlled by large utilities. Instead, they imagine a future where every household, every vehicle, even entire cities could sustain themselves through clean technology. In 2020 and beyond, news platforms and independent YouTubers began documenting Chikumbutso's journey, sometimes exaggerating his achievements, sometimes romanticizing them, but always reinforcing the sense that African inventors were breaking new ground. Maxwell responded to the attention with humility, often thanking God for what he considered divine guidance in his discoveries. He insisted that he was not working alone, that a community of engineers and supporters had stood behind Seth Technologies from the beginning. His company showcased various prototypes at technology expos in Zimbabwe, South Africa, and the United States. Visitors described demonstrations where small devices ran continuously without visible fuel input, though detailed schematics and peer-reviewed studies remained scarce. Maxwell admitted he had struggled with intellectual property protection and resource limitations. For any inventor operating outside established scientific institutions, scaling up and proving feasibility to international standards can be an uphill climb. Yet the persistence of his experiments kept the idea alive that innovation is not the monopoly of industrial giants. In recent years, engineers in Africa have increasingly taken inspiration from such examples. University programs in Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, and South Africa now encourage students to explore off-grid energy, wireless power transmission, and locally manufactured components. Maxwell Chikumbutso's name is frequently mentioned in lectures and research proposals as a symbol of African ingenuity, proof that high-level creativity can flourish even in resource-constrained environments. The broader global context adds weight to his mission. Climate change, energy poverty, and rising fuel costs have created an urgent demand for solutions that are not just cleaner but more equitable. According to the International Energy Agency, nearly 600 million people in sub-Saharan Africa still lack access to reliable electricity. That figure is more than a statistic. It defines the boundaries of education, healthcare, and economic opportunity. Innovators like Maxwell Chikumbutso are attempting to redraw those boundaries. His approach is holistic. Rather than importing expensive systems, he focuses on localized manufacturing and open innovation. The concept is simple but radical: build what you need where you are, using available materials and knowledge sharing. Even if his more extraordinary claims remain unverified, the philosophy behind them challenges the dependency that has historically limited technological growth in developing regions. Over time, international scientific communities have shown increasing interest in collaborating with African inventors. Conferences on renewable technology now include panels dedicated to indigenous innovation. Researchers from European and Asian universities have visited African laboratories to exchange data and mentor young engineers. This cross-pollination is slowly transforming how the world perceives research from the global south. It is no longer a question of can Africa invent, but how fast can Africa scale what it's already inventing. Within this narrative, Maxwell Chikumbutso occupies a symbolic role. He represents both the promise and the challenges of frontier innovation. On one hand, he offers a vision of self-sustaining technology that could redefine energy consumption. On the other, his experience highlights the barriers faced by inventors who operate outside formal systems: limited funding, lack of testing facilities, and skepticism from traditional academia. If we look at the parallels with global innovators like Elon Musk, we see common traits: relentless curiosity, resistance to doubt, and a refusal to be confined by existing rules. Where Musk uses billion-dollar companies and vast laboratories to test his ideas, Chikumbutso relies on improvisation and persistence. Both, however, speak to humanity's deeper impulse: to build, to experiment, and to imagine a world better than the one we inherited. As energy companies diversify, ideas once dismissed as fringe are being revisited. Wireless charging, magnetic induction, and advanced resonance technologies are now central topics in research papers. Governments are investing in decentralized microgrids and small-scale renewables for rural communities. In this shifting landscape, Maxwell's early vision of accessible fuel-free power no longer sounds as far-fetched as it once did. It sits within a continuum of progress where yesterday's impossible becomes tomorrow's standard. Documentary crews following his work often note the modesty of his operations: simple workshops, local technicians, and a sense of purpose that transcends commercial ambition. There is an authenticity in that image, a reminder that innovation begins not with billion-dollar budgets, but with questions and persistence. His story resonates because it restores faith in individual creativity at a time when technology can feel dominated by corporations and algorithms. Today, Maxwell continues to refine his projects, exploring improved efficiency, renewable integration, and better data transparency. He has publicly expressed a desire to partner with universities for independent verification, acknowledging that credible science thrives on replication and scrutiny. If those partnerships materialize, they could bridge the gap between grassroots invention and institutional recognition. Looking forward, the future of energy will likely involve a tapestry of solutions: solar, wind, hydrogen, nuclear fusion, and perhaps electromagnetic innovations that we are only beginning to understand. Maxwell Chikumbutso's contributions, whether eventually proven or not, form part of that exploratory frontier. His story invites a crucial conversation about inclusivity in science: whose ideas are tested, whose voices are amplified, and how knowledge can circulate beyond borders. For viewers, the lesson is profound. The next transformative discovery might not emerge from a corporate lab, but from a small garage, a rural classroom, or a local workshop. The capacity to dream and build exists everywhere. And when individuals dare to act on that capacity, they expand the collective imagination of humanity. As the documentary closes, the camera could return to where it all began: Harare at sunset, the hum of generators fading into the background, and Maxwell standing beside one of his prototypes. The device glows softly, not as proof of perfection, but as a symbol of perseverance. Innovation, he says, is not about proving everyone wrong. It is about proving that better is possible. He looks to the horizon, where cities need light, where communities need power, and where ideas still have the strength to change the world. In that quiet determination lies the spirit of invention, the same force that drove humanity. From candles to electricity, from horse-drawn carts to electric cars, and from questions to breakthroughs,